Hey everyone, thank you for coming back through for the post-market show. We're going to talk all about earnings. We got GameStop on board. We got C3 AI on board. We got UiPath on board as we do not stop working for you. Yeah, we're excited. We're getting ready for this right now. We want to make sure that we are watching everything here for you right now. So we're going to call up GameStop coming through right now, see if there's any reports out yet. Doesn't look like it here for GME. We're going to wait to see if there's anything coming through on that one. We have UiPath, which is PATH, waiting for that one. And look down here. This is what we're going to watch out for here as the 1 minute chart kind of blow up here a little bit if this does go. So that's UiPath. Right now, 1650, breaking a little bit higher goes UiPath. Benzinga is right here right now. We watch young Sheldon. What does he say? Bazooka or something? I don't know. There's Benzinga? Oh, he does say it. Okay, yeah, there you go. Oh, Buzzinga, not Benzinga. Okay, my bad. Right there. But so it doesn't look like anything's out yet, but we have a big, huge show coming your way today. As you can see on there, Chris Brecher from Simpler Trading coming out. He's one of their main guys over there. So we'll see if he has anything to talk about. I know he does want to talk about the SPY and the Qs and what he's been seeing over there. So we'll keep an eye on everything for you, man. You're now rocking with the best after show period there on the market. So we're going to go over everything as we see them coming through live. So my eye is going to be over here as we wait for something to hit right now. HKIT also moving around here in the aftermarket. Absolutely no surprise. Wowee. Right there on the day, down to 360, now busting it out to 450 there in the after hours. There was, he was saying properties, I got to go show pre-market, show post-market. Let's just make sure that we get it all here. So if anything starts flying again, these are the daily right down here. We'll look at this. We could switch this over actually to a minute chart because that's really what we want to see. And then we'll flip this over to the daily on HKIT. So let's just watch out for that big FU candle there on the day. So, all right, nothing's hitting for me right now. We will join everybody soon on the show. So just stay with me as I log in here into the aftermarket show. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm Sean Katina, and we are ready to rock and roll right now. Let's just pop out the chat and see who's with us one more time. Thank you so much to everybody that's here, man. Carlos, Cloud9, DJK. AI's moving higher. Okay, is AI out right now? Let's have a double check on that one. AI coming through. And again, C3 AI, if there's anything popping on that, we will see. There it is. Yeah, you're right. You're not wrong. It is moving a little bit higher right now. I just don't see an aggressive move in this name yet. So we'll wait. Right now, I'm not seeing much happening as we have a great aftermarket scan happening right here. So shout out to Trade Ideas. Anything that hits, which is why I talked about HKIT right there, anything that hits in the aftermarket, I'll be able to see almost immediately. So if that comes through, guys, thank you so much. I will be posting that. And thank you for everybody that's here right now. Matt is here. Aurora Alpha's here. Noah Profit is here. Yeah, what's up, man? Thumbs up from Cloud9 as well. Hooch, everybody's here, man. This is going to be a great show. You're damn right. This is going to be a great show. I'm not putting in this effort for no damn reason. There it is right now. C3 AI, nice move up to 3190. I don't see it yet. Let's go over a quick little market recap. As we get these out, I'll come through and make sure that we are also watching out for Benzinga. It's Buzzinga, right? Remember, but Benzinga coming out for any earnings. We're always on that. What was hot today? Well, why not U.S. oil? I mean, oil, again, trying to break out. We sort of talked about that. This is the minute chart. Here's the daily. You know what? This is actually why we should call the daily up over here, just real quick so we can see it. There's oil, just continues to be an absolute monster, breaking out through 10-month highs now on OIH. Great move up for oil. Neil talked about this a little bit. UNG. I can't seem to figure this one out. This just keeps on getting destroyed every single day. And you know what? Right now, we're breaking even lower on UNG. So what was 30 bucks back last summer, man, now down to $6. And of course, that is gas. So we'll have to see what's happening with nat gas. And as we zoom a little bit closer, still not near the bottoms, but watch out for $6 on nat gas. You know what? That could be worth a flyer down there on nat gas. So we'll wait to see if that comes through. You know what? We haven't talked about the regionals in a minute. So the regionals, again, not great. You know, through earnings, obviously, as they're one of the first ones to come through on the banking side. But nice little move down on KRE. I always want to look at TAN, man. We've talked about this ETF as well, starting to get hit. My eyes are still looking, guys. So I don't see anything of any of the big reports yet. We are all eyes as well on GameStop coming through as well. So hopefully that will hit at some point as we await for GME to come out here. Oh, it looks like it's making a little bit of a move down. If we can go over here to GameStop, we'll check it out on the 1 minute coming through here. Ramin, who just switching? Yeah, she's on it right now. So GameStop just up and down. Okay, there it is. GameStop is now out. So we'll have it up here. GameStop revenues beat. EPS minus 3 cents versus minus 14. That's a beat right there for GameStop. We'll see what else it says here. Quarterly loss, fine. 78% beat on that, 91% increase over the losses last year. All right, so those are what the numbers look like. Again, you guys can go over it. Let's see what the stock is doing right now. We have a 1 minute chart up right now on the main screen. So GameStop up to 1983 and back down. Good year, 1983. I was a wee one at that point. 1770 right now for GameStop. So that's coming in right now as I'm seeing it hit the wires for GME. It doesn't look like it's moving around a whole heck of a lot. There it is. Here we go. GameStop right now. Let's go. A nice little move to the upside there as GameStop Q2 looking like, again, not bad, 2.4% increase over sales of 1.14 billion. So there goes GameStop, a nice move to the upside, 19 and change hitting for GME. There it goes, man, nice move. The other name, of course, we're looking for is Path. Meh. Doesn't look like that's out. And then C3AI coming out. Wow, what? Okay, there we go. Nice move for C3AI. Remember, there is a short float involved here with C3AI. In fact, it's 34% short. So watch. Ooh, I don't want to lose my mic there. Close to ripping here. If you're going to look at a daily for C3AI, let's just do this right now and pop this thing out and have a quick look at where we're looking for the daily on C3AI. Tons of movement to come on this name, Ed. The implied report was 14% move on C3AI, so it doesn't look like it's quite getting to that. Right now up 2.5% on the move. So I'd say you're still looking at $40. You want to fade anything like that. And then we have the 50 period, I believe, there at $35 for C3AI. Let's pop that back in and watch out. Is GameStop moving a little bit more than we thought? Nah, it's kind of just hovering around, so not much happening right there. What else we want to talk about quickly? We talked about OIH, USO, making that move. The Chinese ETF. I really like FXI. I'd actually rather trade this than anything else because just it has the nice levels. Although Alibaba and PDD and things like that are obviously great to trade, but here's FXI. Still waiting for it to get to $30, man. Once it gets there, I think it's going to be a decent short. The NASDAQ, and we do have Chris coming out today. It should be great. Chris wants to talk about, he messaged me, wants to talk about the breakdown of the ES and the NQ and how they do look very similar. We had Michael Noss on yesterday talking about the relative strength spiders, not the SPY, but the RSP, the equal weighted, and that was an interesting look. So we'll see what Chris has to say today about that too, as the NASDAQ yesterday did not fall, but today, as we look at the, well, it fell 0.08 yesterday, almost 1% today, as there's the NASDAQ, again, a beautiful high of 380, basically getting right back to where we've been. I mean, call a spade, man. 380 is close enough to 387. So you almost got back to that July high right there in the NASDAQ before falling down. But guys, guess what? The NASDAQ's not going to go unless you get big guys like NVIDIA to follow, Microsoft and Apple. And guys, one of the biggest destroyed names today, and man, oh man, did we hit Apple short. I mean, I don't know what we're going to do on the trade review. I mean, spoiler alert, it's on the board right now. But look at this trade on Apple today. 189 short. Bang! It's my show, I can do that. And then another short at the end of the day as well. We really nailed Apple to the wall, and today was a good one. Let's see what happens for Apple. I'm actually expecting a bounce back day coming for Apple. It's only 4:09, 5 more minutes, and we'll get Chris on and hear what he has to say, of course, about all of that. Yeah, so a big trade today for Apple. What else? All right, so that's some trades there. Let's go back over to trade ideas and just have one more quick look at some of the sectors. What else is catching my eye here? Gold relatively flat, only 0.1. As you can see, the gold trade still there. I don't know. I don't really like this is the miners, the GDX, GLD I believe was weaker. Yeah, there's GLD today down 0.5%. I mean, again, if gold's not rallying, we did have Natalie Brunell on. Thank you so much, Natalie. Next stop, the big show. So she'll be on here pretty soon as well. And, you know, if Bitcoin's not really working in this environment, because quite frankly, it's still hovering around that 26, 27, 25. I mean, in and around there. I really feel like there's an opportunity to maybe dollar cost average into that. Make sure you go to 245. Check out Natalie Brunell on the afternoon show talking about dollar cost averaging. And then really just if you're worried about the financial situation and what's going on right now with the printing of more and more money, which they're just going to continue to do, then yeah, looking at gold, which is right here, GLD, definitely something to look at as we approach. I feel like these July bottoms again, or June bottoms, coming through at 175. All right, the SMH again, a big semiconductor index heading to the downside as well today. Another name coming out of there with NVIDIA really dripping a little bit today. Last checks, yeah, down 3%. Yuck for NVIDIA. You can see, here's the earnings marker. Its best day was the pre-market, and actually we had Chris on that day. That was the best day for NVIDIA. It got to all-time highs of, I believe, about 515 there in the post-market before fading off. And right now, it's still completely fine, man, as we come through. Let me just check out, actually, quickly, what is that indicator that's on it? It keeps getting 50 period. Okay, so the blue's the 50 period moving average. That's what we like. We also like the 200 period. I'm going to add that to the charts. But I don't think we're in trouble till NVIDIA slips below 450. So watch out for 450. If NVIDIA takes 450, I'll be gobbling up some Qs because I really believe in the NASDAQ story. It's just some names have to slip. And we saw Apple today doing exactly that. Silver with a move down today as well, down 1.6%, trying to get back to these levels with silver. So, you know, that's pretty good, man. Our next topic here is going to go back to earnings. So before we get Chris on, which I'm very excited to have him on, so let's just go over to earnings real quick. We'll talk about GME. What is that name doing? Well, let's go over to our, again, you know, the main show sponsored by Benzinga. Unfortunately, this show, we got to get some sponsors. Oh, there's UiPath. UiPath coming out right now. So we can check out UiPath. UiPath right now, 9 cents beating verse 3. Their C's revenues coming in at 313, beating 3. Actually, I guess kind of in the middle there. 313 versus 318 against 315. So that's coming through. Revenues look a little in line, maybe to the high side. But when you're talking about 1.27 billion, you're not really worried about that 3 at the end there. So still a nice move for UiPath. So let's double check what's happening with UiPath. But there's GME. Let's call up a 1-minute chart quickly to see if there's, yeah, so GameStop just up and down and around. I mean, get your video games at GameStop right now. Okay, UiPath, they don't like that. Like I said, those numbers weren't super impressive as UiPath coming back down to the downside. The next big name, of course, was C3 AI. And that name, ooh, it was cruising to the upside. It looks like we got those numbers as well there with C3 AI. So we'll do a quick look to see what those numbers came out as. So here's Benzinga again. There's AI just coming out right now. Beats. So again, -9 versus -17. That's nice. Sales basically flat. I guess a lot of people thought with this AI craze that maybe their sales would be a little bit more robust than a very small beat. Quarterly loss is 9. We just saw that. We'll wait for the guide. It doesn't look like that's out yet right now either. So Couchbase, I thought it was Coinbase, Couchbase. What the hell's that? 17 cents versus 22 cents. Okay, see it, Couchbase. Get on the couch for that one. But there it is. So C3 AI down, GameStop up-ish. Right now up a little bit, kind of flat on GameStop. Then the other name is UiPath. So that's earnings. That's a little bit of a review there. And that sector watch. Now on to what is my favorite segment. So let's go with... It's Trader Talk. There he is. What's up, Chris? How's your day?
How you doing?
I'm not doing too bad, actually. We're enjoying some of these market moves. What a wild day it was today. I'm sure you and some of your traders there looked at Apple today. That what $9 move to the downside, closing around that 181, 182 marker from yesterday's 190. What a wild day there in the NASDAQ.
Yeah, I'll tell you right now is it's sort of cool when I'm right. I mean, you know, it's flipping a coin, but no, all kidding aside, I put out charts on Sunday night, Tuesday night, and Thursday night for everyone. And the ones that I showed, thank goodness, work because, you know, you sit there and you be like some people on CNBC and go, I'm pounding the table on this. I'm pounding the table and them being dead wrong.
I like
but I
this.
wanted to show you what we were doing. So you can see my screens, right?
Yep.
Cool. So I know you were showing trading views, so I thought I'd show what we were looking at on trading view. You could do it on Thinkorswim, and I'll show you the MACD or later. But what we were seeing is this. We were watching all of these indexes in relation to their 50 moving average.
Right.
So we were like, if the YM plows through it and the transports plow through it, then we got to think the ES is going to plow through it, which it did, which makes you think the NASDAQ is going to plow through it. And just exactly like what you said, is if the NASDAQ is going to approach the 50 moving average or go lower, you have to have these go down. This is a beautiful thing. That was posted last night. So about the NASDAQ stocks plowing through the 50. So the thing is, like you said, for the NASDAQ to really follow the rest, you're going to have to see NVIDIA go to the 50. That was yesterday.
Right.
And it started to.
I mean, did you have any farming experience in your older life? Because we like to use the word plow a lot, I noticed there. So
I trade Caterpillar a lot.
that's what I was going to say. I know our friend
it.
Danielle Shea loves deer right there. But you know what? That's a very good point, Chris, and that is that when a lot of people look at the transports, it's actually interesting that you brought that up. I feel like that's a little bit of an older school methodology there, looking at for the transports to sort of give it up there. Is that still something, I mean, you just mentioned it, is that still something that you're looking at, the rails and so on and so forth, things like that?
And by the way, I got one thing to tell you. I am not Bernie Sanders and I'm not Larry David. I just want to let you know that I had a lot of comments about that. I'm neither of them. I'm just me. So I just want to let you know that. Also, when we talk about the rails, I was not trading when Jesse Livermore was around doing the rails. But believe it or not, those things, I'm watching them just in relation to each other. So when I watched the Dow Jones transports, when they were back here and the ES was already at the 50, we got really bearish to transports, not because of the Dow theory, but because everything seemed to follow that 50 moving average.
Right.
So if you look at it here, that was July 31st.
You know what?
The ES was already there. So pretty cool. So that's why we got bearish to transports. You can play it with IYT, but we played it with Federal Express, even though Deere worked also, and UMP definitely worked. And here's another tell for you. UMP went nuts. On the other hand, up here on earnings, on the other hand, NSC was getting destroyed. So a lot of times I've done pair trades where I've actually bought Norfolk Southern down here and shorted UMP just because the spread got too wide with UMP too high relative to Norfolk. But once I saw this fall apart, you had to think UMP was going to fill that gap. So, but not really Dow theory kind of thing as much as vacillating around that moving average. And like these similar charts seem to have similar outcomes.
Yeah, shout out to Jesse Livermore and Reminiscence of a Stock Operator. I mean, that was one of the only books that I read growing up in this industry, and it's a very, very good book for sure, Reminiscence of a Stock Operator. We had a CMT, our favorite, Michael Noss, on yesterday, and he talked about the relative equal weight RSP. So it's not the SPY, which of course is just weighted however they weight them, but this is an equal weighted ETF. And if you come over to my screen as well here, Ramin, you can see we did give that up. It is now under the 50 period. This of course is RSP. And as that was giving it up yesterday with this big red candle, followed through by today, because yesterday with that big red candle, we only had the NASDAQ down 0.08, not even 0.1%, but the ES fell down, and then followed by today with, of course, the triple Qs, as the NASDAQ right now just flirting with that 50 period. Chris, you actually brought up the 50 period moving average. That's something that I use all the time on a daily, and I've actually implemented it into day trading on a scalping time frame of 1 minute. And the 50 period, I actually really like it. Anything, if stocks are above it, I'll favor the long, and if they're below it, we'll favor the short. It's actually a very, very simple indicator to use. Is that something that you're always using, the 50 period, especially on a daily?
Usually intraday, I'm watching it in relation to everything else. So if I see, because I'm looking at the 1 minute right now, like you were talking about, if I see, let's say, the ES really get hit under it like you did, let's say at 3 o'clock on Wednesday today, then what you're doing is you got to assume the NASDAQ is going to do the same thing, especially when it had a bear flag before it broke down and the ES already broke. So yeah, definitely I look at that. The other thing I look at, and you'll see it with the VWAP, is we color the VWAP. And we don't use the VWAP just obsessively like to buy over it or sell it. But if you see a group like the chips, and you see, let's say, Lam Research get way, all of a sudden, break under the VWAP,
right,
my charts, my 1 minute charts will turn red. And so if you see Lam Research do that and get way under the VWAP, you got to think that a lot of the other chips are going to follow it. And so you can use that with a 50, no doubt about it. And what I'm seeing with you with the 50, it worked great today in the NASDAQ. You know, especially if you can combine it with like intraday charts, no doubt about it. In fact, if you look at the NASDAQ that you were looking at,
yep,
and you look right here, so right when it got above the 50 moving average,
yes,
that
sir.
was it.
Yes,
but
sir.
you were also able to combine it with the chart pattern. So, I mean, that must be what you're doing in here. And then right here, you see the bear flag right at the 50.
Yes, sir. I mean, that's exactly... There we go. We also do a lot of that on the show, and that's exactly what we're talking about. We look at technical indicators and a few very, very simple things. It's almost like I should host a trading show at some point, but that's what we're doing, so thank you so much. We had a question in the chat that I want to actually address. Shout out to my guy, Dan Emmons here. If you come over to the screen real quick, Ramin, shout out to Dan. He's back right now. He actually brought up a good point. I actually forgot about it, and that was that what about the big Apple event that's happening next week, Worldwide Developer Conference, where they, of course, plan on talking about possibly new AI, talking about their new phones and things like that. Apple today washed out, but then brought to my attention, of course, because we were in this all day, man. We actually had the 188 breakdown there, Chris, right off the pre-market. And when I saw that China came through and was like, nah, man, we're going to start limiting the use of some of the products, the foreign products, we were like, okay, that's bad news there for Apple, and really started cascading all the way down. And in fact, at the end of the day, right here around 3:30 was a big bump up there for Apple, where we made that bottom at 181 all the way up about $1.50, closing around 183. A lot of buy action there into the close. We talked about this last week. We had a $1.5 billion market on close imbalance that hit at the end of the day, Apple being bought up. Do you trade around events like that with Apple, or are you just looking technically and you don't really care about some of that intraday noise that might happen on Apple's Worldwide Developer Conference?
Actually, when they have that, a lot of times, believe it or not, 5 minutes after the conference starts, the stock sells off. Not this time, the stock's gotten nailed. But for years, what we'd do is we'd sell calls, out of the money calls, like 5 minutes after the conference starts, and was really reliable because the volatility got pumped into it.
Right.
And usually the stock would go up prior to it, right into the event. So we figured even if it rallied a little, the calls would collapse.
Yeah, I guess right now, you know, writing calls and you know, options in general, I guess, with such high premiums, especially on a day like today, maybe decent value in there. Chris, look, thank you so much for joining us. Is there one idea maybe that you were looking at for tomorrow? I mean, you know, you can give our viewers here a little bit of an insight on something that you're looking at. You're looking for the short to continue?
Sure, real quick. The ES, I don't know if you can see my screen, but you see on how the hourly, I'm showing those arrows on the ES, and you see on how it sold off all the way to that support on the middle left.
Yep.
And the MACD got oversold. On the other hand, look at the NASDAQ and how it's not near that same level.
Right.
Right here. So I think the NASDAQ still has unfinished business to the downside, even if the ES is could outperform.
What is that date? What is that date? What is that date there on the first arrow? How far back are you going?
That's the end of August.
Okay.
So that and you see what's so neat is how similar that chart looks to the NASDAQ, except for the last day. So the NASDAQ's all the way up here, while the ES is all the way down here. So I just think the NASDAQ, after it works off that hourly oversold MACD, could go back down to the same line like the ES has.
Chris, thank you so much for all of your information there. And I tend to agree. I still think that there's a little bit more pain to come. And I keep forgetting what date it is. Today's Wednesday. So we still got a couple more days left in this week. Thank you so much. They can find you on Twitter. They can find you on StockTwits. It's Chris Brecher from Simpler Trading. Thank you so much, Chris. Enjoy your evening and great information once again.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Absolutely no problem. That was Trader Talk. Again, what a fantastic guest to have on. And it's really great to have other traders joining us here on the show, because Neil and I, Sharif, Obi, whoever's doing the trading here with Trader TV Live, obviously we don't trade options intraday. Oh, but we may be getting options added to our platform. So what happens when we just start trading options? Oh, shit. Am I allowed to say that? All right, quickly right here, let's go on to something else. We're going to go to Trade Review. I don't know if we have that or not, but let's just call it Stock Blitz. Right now, real quick, man, real quick. We only have 3 minutes before this whole thing blows up, so we'll go over to the next topic right now. We've already talked a little bit about Apple. Apple absolutely fell apart. It was all over the sticky note here today. So that's not the sticky note, this is a blank one. But it was all over it. We didn't like that Apple news coming through from China yesterday. We also don't like the fact that Apple just kept on bouncing its head off of 190, as you can see right here, before making the move in. So we shorted the you-know-what out of this thing real early, and it was a good day to start with. And then the day even got a lot better now we have these wicks. Let me see if I can just do one more and get rid of that. Yeah, so there it is right there. Shorting at about 182 all the way down here. 182.75. Brought it down for $1. We had a nice little Dollar Club winner at the end of the day. The other name I want to talk about, which someone called this a masterclass in Roku. I mean, I wish more trades were looking out like this. But today on Roku, again, another sticky note name where we had the long breaking right through there. If we can come over to the screen quickly, Ramin, because I have to talk fast. This show's about to blow up in 2 minutes. We had the long early, which was great. We talked about this pre-market level of 93.50. Bang. Best out 95.50. That's $2. All right. Then we got long again down here off 91.92. Bang. Back up there. That's another $2. All right. Then it comes back into 90. We took that. That gets out at VWAP for $1.50. I'm an idiot. And then all of a sudden, it started to break down. And once we broke down through 90, we took a couple swings and misses, man. All right. That's just like plop. Right there. But then anyways, it came to the 50 period. This is something that I do not want to forget. Do not let me forget about the 50 period moving average, because look at that, man. We shorted it off of that. Not only did we short it off of that, but $91 never came to roost. And then look what happens. The carnival continues there on Roku, whereby we get out when it finally breaks the 50 period. So long for money, short for money. Nice play all the way down to 85. That's a $5 winner right there on Roku. So up a couple bucks, down a couple bucks. That is Stock Blitz. All right, who's still here? Quickly, let's do a quick little roll call. And we got a lot of graphics, man. You ask and they shall deliver. Who's here right now? Let's just get people a chance to get back in and talk a little bit about who's here right now. We will do a quick little look quickly on some of the earnings plays, because again, I got a Little League game to coach, and it's playoffs, baby. So we'll look right now. Wow, here we go. Nice little upside move here for GameStop. Let's go over to a 1 minute chart. Yes, sir. Congratulations. GameStop right now up that 10% at its highs. Right now up 8 and a bit. GameStop moving and chugging along back up to the upside. Let's see if C3AI is having a similar, not really, down 4%, but wow. C3AI hits that $28 mark. That's another one. And then UiPath with a nice move to the upside as well. Just quickly checking on HKIT, not an earnings name, but one that could go ham here in the aftermarket, but it's actually doing the other thing around. It's going spam. All right, quickly, it's roll call. Let's do it again. We didn't do it too much here. Who's here right now? Thank you so much, Judge. He likes the guests, so what's up to Judge? They're great guests. Darwin is here as well. Shout out to Mint, who's here. Shout out to AK. Let's go down and see who's here. Joe is here right now. Hit the like button. Put some comments, man. That's what we're all about. Let's go. I'm not done. Let's go. Tony's here. Jam is here. Habitual's here. Bears vs. Bulls here. Mr. Long Shorts. That's what I feel like some days, man. Some days we're long long, some days we're short, but either way, we're dressed. So that's what's up. Who is Mike Jones? It's Mike Jones right now, man. Sitting sideways. What's up to Jameson is here as well. Yo, what's up to Ponzi Fonzie? Chimps is here, man. You're now rocking with the best, but I can't have this without having you. So thank you so much for joining. It's only a half hour. Fin. Finite right now. I guess that means we better finish pretty soon right here before we get blown out. But not done yet because, again, it's my party and I'll cry if I want to. Thank you so much to Bears vs. Bulls. This is fan funding again today. Thank you so much for all the super chats today. Apri, Lily, Jay, Nicole, new members. It's $5 to be a member of the show, man. Sponsor it. We'll get better chairs, better desks. What's up to Nico, Bob Stewart as well. And Nita Stonk gifted some membership, so I want to thank everybody for joining me here today. What a great guest. Thank you for Mr. Chris Brecher coming from Simpler Trading. Don't have my water. You can find him on StockTwits and on Twitter, and you can find me at TraderTV. Sean, thank you so much for watching. I got to get out of here. What a great show again, but it's only great because you are here with me. So hit the like, hit the share, hit the subscribe. I'll be back tomorrow as I'm going to struggle to talk here as I need a drink. So thank you so much for coming through again, and we'll be back tomorrow at 8:30. I'm Sean Katina. Follow me at TraderTV Sean for some pretty cool posts, trying to keep it real every single day. See ya, Kat, as she's out of here. Thank you, Ramin. Thank you, everybody. We're back tomorrow at 8:30. Ciao. I'll see you on the field.